Hello. So I just filmed a makeup video and thought actually I should do a book offering as well. You can see I'm reading something, of course, and I said before, balls and books, story of my life, and there is just a hint of a TBR pile there and then a bit more of it there. I know. So I've only got two for you. I've had a chat with you in the makeup video about YouTube and everything, so do get back to me. But I wanted to talk to you about these two books. The first one, I really loved it. It's one of those you do have to sort of keep on top of it because it is connected and some of the characters link through the story and relate to each other. So that's the first thing I would say. But I liked it because it's almost like short stories. So each chapter is a different sort of person, but they're connected to the original story and they are also connected to each other. Some of them are connected to each other, but it feels almost like short stories in each chapter, but there's just one thing through it. So this is Sheila Armstrong, Falling Animals, and basically a body is found on a beach, which clearly isn't a body that's been washed up. This is somebody who has somehow either gone to the beach and died there, or they've been placed there. And it's sort of about the whole link with the beach and how people come to that area and how people are thrown to that area and make their lives, and you get their backstory and, you know, this connection of this body on a beach and who this person is, and also their story and how that's sort of like you throw a pebble into a river and you have the ripples. It just all ripples out and there's just all these little connections everywhere. So you do have to be quite with it, because there were times when I thought, hang on a minute, oh, I've missed something, and gone back. But it's so exquisitely written, and it feels, I think a lot of her original works are sort of poetry because it feels that way. There's, you know, the prose and the rhythm of the language and the ease of the chapters in that it feels like a short story almost, you know, a poem on each page. But she sets the scenes so eloquently. It is a divine read, but you do have to be, I wouldn't say read it at bedtime. If you're like me and you read a book and that's it, you need to be sort of fully compos mentis, have a coffee at your side to read this. But I really loved it. So Falling Animals by Sheila Armstrong. Oh, now this one. This one, I feel quite emotional talking about it for a number of reasons. One of the main ones is it's sort of, it's home in many ways to me. This is Karen Powell, 15 Wild Decembers. Now, 15 Wild Decembers was the title of a poem by Emily Bronte. And this is set in Haworth, which is why I feel quite emotional about it, because obviously, yes, it's West Yorkshire and I'm a North Yorkshire lass, but you know on here that I have loved the Brontes since I was a child, and I've been to Haworth many times. And I was introduced to the Brontes and their books by my mum. And I have a huge affection for just the whole Bronte, I do. And this was, it's like a heartbeat. It just became part of me. And it is a fictional account of the Bronte sisters in Haworth. It's a fictional account, but it does pull a lot of fact. So there's fact knitted into this fictional account of their time in Haworth as they are building up to writing their books, before, during and after. And you get a sense of the characters. So you have when they've gone to school, so you do meet the younger, you meet the older sisters, which was Maria or Mariah and Elizabeth, who died quite young. You also have the father, so Patrick Bronte. You also have Emily and Anne and Charlotte. You have Branwell, and you have the aunt, and, you know, lots of people connected that way. Arthur Bell Nichols. So there's a lot of fact, as I say, in there, but you have this sort of huge story, but it is written to such a degree that you could read it, and if you didn't know any better, it was all fact. It's so tightly woven together. Yeah, it's absolutely exquisite, and I adored it. And you live it, and I could close my eyes and I could be in Haworth, and I could be on the high street with the cobbles, and I could be in the, you know, the church and the graveyard, which feels like there's no sense of what era you're in or time when you stand in that graveyard. It's the most incredible feeling. I can't express it well enough. Unless you stood there, you could open your eyes, and actually, if you didn't know, you wouldn't actually know what year you were in. It wouldn't surprise me if, you know, somebody Edwardian walked past, or Victorian, or it's the most incredible, timeless. It's almost like a portal. You know, you almost feel like you could just step left or right or forwards and you could end up elsewhere. It has the most incredible feeling in that graveyard. But this is, it is my favourite of 2024 so far. It is an exquisite piece. I literally sort of have it near me. I have it where I can see it. It's near me. I almost feel like I can't do anything unless I know it's there. It so profoundly affected me, and it was so respectfully written, and in a sort of you'd expect a Bronte-esque way, but some people really overdo it. This is just, it's pared back to absolutely skeleton of what was beautiful and is beautiful about the Brontes and Haworth and that environment. But there's such tremendous sadness, the loss of their sisters. You know what's coming, so you feel that kind of heaviness. You feel, you know, how they feel. You go through how Anne feels, how Emily feels. But what I love is you kind of realise as you're reading it that this is from Emily's perspective. And I love this sort of vision that you're presented of Emily, rather than it being the Charlotte Bronte perspective, which you often get. You do get it from Emily's perspective. And I love that, you know, there's more understanding of the sisters now, and clearly Emily was very her own person, who was very happily solitary. She enjoyed being solitary. She wasn't necessarily a group person, a people person, but her character is just exquisite, and you kind of get the bare bones of her beginning with Wuthering Heights, and this connection of where Wuthering Heights has come from with her, which is, of course, it's a fictional take on it, but it's so brilliantly done that you kind of think that's how you wanted to have really been. Even if you're not into the Brontes and you've never been to Haworth and you don't get emotional stood in a graveyard, you still need to read it, because it's just a book of the most, it's a book of a lot of words that is perfectionately put together. Karen Powell, I hope she writes more. That's all I can say. There are lots out there in the style of, or the ilk of the Brontes, but this has to be one of the best I've ever experienced. And that's what it is. It's not a story as such, it's an experience. And that's a rare thing when you're reading, to really be so immersed in a world that you just feel quite in it. You feel the sadness, but you feel the sort of happiness and the strength and the clarity of the sisters, and the sheer resilience, and going and doing something that women just didn't do. Brilliant. It's just, you know, it's not even out of 10. It can't possibly, 10 is not high enough for how much I love this book. Have you gathered how much I loved this book? I love it, absolutely love it, and I will reread it and I will recommend it to everybody. It's just beautiful, and isn't that also, I mean, that basically tells you everything you need to know. It's all there. It's all there. I love it. And those are the two. I know it's a meagre two, but sometimes it's good because technically it means I don't blabber as much. So there are 2 more that I am reading. One thing I will tell you is I went to see and hear the lovely Lucy Worsley talk about her Agatha Christie book that she brought out. So she's been doing a tour talking about Agatha Christie, and it was brilliant. I mean, she was so, it was packed. I don't think I've been with that many people for a long time. The theatre was packed. There is a lot of love for Lucy Worsley, just saying. Fantastic demographic, fantastic mix of the sexes, all inclusive, just saying that, don't want to upset anybody. It was just wonderful, and she was so engaging, almost a bit sort of almost girl-like, you know, a bit sort of Alice in Wonderland, girly. She was just wonderful, and I loved it. The first part was her sort of going through bits from her book. It wasn't a set, Agatha Christie was born, she did this, she did that, she did that. She picked a few, you know, choice bits out, but she really involved everybody. She engaged everybody. The second part was you basically could ask her anything, so it didn't have to be purely Christie. And there were a lot of questions about obviously her work, a lot of questions about Henry VIII, a lot of questions about Henry VIII's wives. And she was doing a poll about who was the favourite wife between Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn, which was very interesting because it was quite an even hands up. So let me know, who's your favourite queen of Henry VIII's? It's an interesting one, isn't it? A lot of people went for Anne Boleyn. I'm just going to say, I think because we know a bit more about Anne Boleyn's story. I was Catherine of Aragon, just saying Catherine of Aragon, because, you know, whatever, she, you know, did her duty. She was loyal and she retained her dignity as much as she possibly could in, you know, in the event of being chucked aside for the Boleyn person. But anyway, do let me know. But it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you get an opportunity to see her, she's starting to tour again. I'm not sure exactly when, but she's doing a Jane Austen tour, so I'm hoping she comes this way because I'd love to see her again. It was a brilliant evening, absolutely fantastic evening. So just to share that with you. And I don't think there's anything else. We do have the Literature Festival near where I live, which you know I love going to, but they've tweaked it this year. They've changed the name of it and they've made it more about writing and publishing. They haven't really quite got the same sort of author input that they've had previous years. So I sort of read the itinerary and I was a bit disappointed. There's only one lady on there, and I actually don't think I'm going to be able to go see her. I'm a bit sad about that because I think they've taken it too far away from it being about books and authors and reading, which clearly was working. And then later this year is the Agatha Christie Festival. And you know, last year I went to see Anne Cleeves. Well, this year, the opening act, but again, I don't think I'm going to be able to go see because of commitments, but Linda LaPlante is the opening act, and I love Linda LaPlante. Who doesn't? Brilliant writer, such a character, used to be an actress, as you probably know. And of course, if you're of my age and ilk of the 1970s, you will remember Rent-A-Ghost, and you will know that she was Miss Popoff, the original Miss Popoff in Rent-A-Ghost. And for that, I just want to go see her because I want to know if anybody dares ask her about it. But when you see her interviewed, she's such a character. But that's just been announced in the last couple of weeks. So I did look at when she was on, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go, sadly. But you don't know. But those are things that are coming up. So that's the book news. Those are the books I've read. 2 books coming. I've not been reading as much because there's been other stuff going on, which I've explained in the other video. So yeah, sometimes we've just got to be in the right sort of headspace, and I haven't been, but I've got 2 on the go. One of them I've had on my TBR pile for about 4 or 5 years. So I finally got that. And the other one is a newly published book, and it's a series that I love. So I'll be sharing that with you. And The Marlowe Murder Club books that you know I love. They've started doing the series. I think it's UK TV play. And I think Samantha Bond is playing Judith, who's one of the main characters. I'm not quite sure that she's quite what I had in mind for Judith. But anyway, oh, that's reminded me. Now, I've read it, but we've just started watching it because we just thought, oh, we just wanted something. Death Comes to Pemberley, P.D. James. Hello. Now then, just started watching it and it's okay. But the casting, I'm not so sure about. I do not see, and I love Anna. Is it Anna Maxwell Martin? Anna Maxwell Martin, whom I love. Motherland, love it. I don't think she's an Elizabeth Bennet. Just saying. Really, immediately, I was like, no. And then I struggle. Gail will be laughing at this. She knows what I'm like. Then I struggle when I go, no. And Craig just said to me, don't say anything. Because I went, ugh, don't. And I was like, oh, right, okay then. Yeah, I kind of lost a bit of the love I was hoping to have. And as an actress, she's great, but she's not Elizabeth Bennet to me. So I was a bit. And then some of the others, you know, sort of Wickham is the guy from, the autopsy programme. Anyway, so some of the baddies, and then they have Matthew Good, who I love as an actor, and no, it's not working for me. It just all feels a bit disjointed. I'd have cast them in it, but in different roles. Right, rant over. Nothing else to rant about. No. Recommendation, Netflix, Three Body Problem. Outstanding. Just outstanding. Watch it. Brilliant. Done. Finished. Stop filming. Edit. Get them up. Comments. Questions. Loads of love. Take care. Bye.